Captain Jack here. For all the NES homebrew games I've talked about on this channel, there's one category I've never touched. One type of NES homebrew that has never been mentioned in any of my videos. That's priced homebrew games. These are homebrew that are only available behind a paywall. Usually, but not always, they have an excellent amount of polish that goes above and beyond the average project. And many of them are absolutely groundbreaking, with the financial incentives being a great motivator. All the links to where to buy these will be in the description. None of these are sponsored in any way. They're just some of my favorites. So let's take a look at 5 of the best paid homebrew NES games. Astro Ninja Man is really a one-of-a-kind experience. It's a kind of shoot-'em-up, but you're not going anywhere. It's really closer to Space Invaders that way. The goal here is to simply try to survive through the onslaught of different enemies. The main mechanic is the clone bodies you can get that act as extra guns without expanding your hitbox. Eventually, if you collect enough of these guys, you'll make a whole line-dancing cult of death. And it looks pretty funky. Really, the whole game is pretty funky. With its minimalist art style and occasional single-color sprites, it all looks very unique, clean, and of course a little bizarre. It's the only Japanese game on this list. Can you tell? Each level has a small mini-boss and a boss at the end that can only really be beaten if you have at least 2 clones going in, so you better be saving up for that final fight. And these bosses can be anything from a giant rock head, a planet, or even a Shinto temple? What ties everything together here is the thumping techno soundtrack that really pushes the sample channel on the NES to its limits. There's really only one other game on this system that even sounds like this, that being Rekka Summer Carnival, and it had to be an inspiration. The only knock against this game is just how hard it is to find it. It's the only cartridge exclusive game on this list, and it's a Famicom cart no less. But if you get your hands on this game, it's a one-of-a-kind experience that defies its 8-bit reality. Alfonzo's Artic Adventure at first seems like a platformer, but it's really more of a puzzle game. There's no run button here, and it's because you won't need it. Everything needs to be thought out, and you'll have to collect all of the fish tokens to end the level, and the order you do it in is essential. What character you are completely changes your approach. Alfonzo can stab to his side, which is pretty good at breaking away at bricks and stabbing enemies, while Magnus can hit below him, which is better for some bricks that are only ever reachable below you. Then there's the fat guy, Fenwood, who can't even take damage from enemies. And he doesn't have an active power, he's just so heavy he'll break through certain bricks by just standing on them. And finally there's the girl. Yep, that's the name in the manual. And she has the only ranged attack in the game. It may be called Artic Adventure, but it really has a good time playing around with that theme. And not every single level is this absolutely snow-drenched wonderland. Alfonzo's Artic Adventure has a bright cartoony art style with strong character design, and it's a pretty great puzzle platformer. Halloween 86 is the beat-em-up to end all beat-em-ups. Although I might be a little bit late showcasing a game with the word Halloween in the title, this game is really good enough to be played at all times of the year. It has a nice little trick-or-treating gone wrong scenario set in the 80s, and it's a fun theme, although honestly, it doesn't look too flashy graphically. But you'll realize why this game is a winner once you get your hands on the controls. There's just so many things you can do here. Beyond the 1-2 punches, uppercuts, and throwable items, there's actually several moves you'll have to unlock each level. And you'll be able to pick and choose which order you unlock the moves in. There's a great range to them too, from a dodge, dive punch, to whatever this nonsense is. Once you have all of them, your moveset actually beats out plenty of 16-bit beat-em-ups released in their heyday. Except for Golden Axe 3, you should really play that one. But there's more to this game than just the moves, with a wide range of fun dynamic set pieces, a survival mode, and unique boss fights. I like how there's no health bar in this game. Instead, your skin will gradually turn more and more green until you die, so you'll have to switch out between your 2 characters until you can heal your damaged one. Halloween 86 really has to be played to fully understand why it's so high quality. Blazing Rangers adds 1 to the narrow genre of firefighting games. How many are there of these, like 3 or 4? And I have no idea why, it's such a good concept and it's executed perfectly here. You'll have to rescue all of the kids from the burning building before it's too late. How the game treats water is pretty fun. There's a hose that's attached to the level exit that can only go so far, but it grants you unlimited water and a large spraying range. Whereas venturing farther without the hose means you'll have to shoot out this pathetic little spittle while you're constantly having to recharge with the B button. Staying alive is a challenge in and of itself, with plenty of enemies that spawn from the hellish inferno. There's these bats that constantly are trying to gnaw on your hose, fire golems that can shoot flames at you, and these mischievous little eggplant guys which, I don't really know what they're doing. They're just skipping around in the miserable blaze. There's a lot of time management that needs to be done here, collecting keys, the order in which you save the kids, and making sure your hose doesn't get cut off by the flames. Blazing Rangers reminds me of those early single-screen black box NES games, and its gameplay has a great arcadey feel to it. Also, it literally has one song when you're fighting the fires, but it's 4 minutes long, and it does start to grow on you. Sam's journey is a tour de force. It's hard to talk about just one aspect of this game when everything in it is a home run. The controls just feel right, the graphics could not be more crisp, and the soundtrack is pure 8-bit goodness. The story starts with Sam sleeping and, well, there really isn't much story to be had here. That's not what this game's about. The ethos of this game is very 80s. It's a bedazzling, spare no expense platformer where you get in and play as soon as possible. Everything revolves around the power-up system, with several different outfits that Sam can wear. It's actually very similar to Kid Chameleon that way. The difference being in that game, you transform into what a 15-year-old would think is cool, where in Sam's journey, you transform into what a 6-year-old would think is cool. Like Pirate Sam, Ninja Sam, Pitcher Sam, and my favorite, Astronaut Sam. The powers you get from collecting these are actually pretty confined, with Ninja Sam sticking to walls and Disco Sam falling slowly. But you'll make great use out of them. Sam's journey is the prime example of a pretty straightforward, simple concept being left in the oven until it was 110% done. And I love how open-ended everything feels, and I'm not just talking about the giant, colorful levels. You can really complete this game in whatever way you want. All of the power-ups are inherently useful in one way, but you're never really forced to use them. You could probably complete the game without really touching them, but they all make one little aspect of the game easier. It has some of the best game design I've seen in a while. And as always, if you try out just one game from this list, have it be Sam's Journey. That's all from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to.